Hello and welcome to a new devlog. And today we are going to update the visuals for the pop-up event confirmation window and create a new window type with a multiple choice selection. But before we start with that, let's fix a small oversight on the last video, which was that I forgot to make the stamina counter on the character UI properly reflect the current and maximum stamina value. So we're going to do this first. So I loaded up the servant element scene, and now we can just add an export for the label and adjust the display text based on the stamina and max stamina of the servant. And as it turns out, we don't have a max stamina value yet, so we need to add that to the servant class first. And because we already have a setter for the stamina that adjusts the bar value, we can conveniently set the element label right here. But before we can test it, we need to initialize the values on first display of the UI element. So let's move back to the servant element class and properly set the bar and bar label values in the add function. And now we have properly displayed stamina values that change according to whatever the game values are. But let's get a bit more fancy with that and actually display a small animation whenever the value changes. So, back in the servant script, instead of directly setting the bar value, I use the property tweener instead. So I add a new tween that we call stamina tween, and then we do the usual kill and recreate routine and change the bar value to the tween property. After checking it out, I think the linear animation looks a bit too stiff, so let's change it to a different interpolation type. Okay, yeah, this is much better. Okay, now we can continue with the dialog window here that we can update with new graphics and the new UI elements we made. So let's start with the background art and replace that with the new texture. Then we add a new texture rect for the attention box that is supposed to hold the display text. Then we center it properly using anchors. And then we just need to apply the changes to the text that we used for the other UI elements as well to get a consistent design. And in the next step, I'm going to fix the margins for the 9-patch rects so that they get rescaled properly, and also add some decoration. You can always check if you have the right margin sizes by just rescaling the box. And if the borders rescale alongside the rest of the box, then the margin is incorrect. And if the borders stay at the constant size, then you have the correct margin settings. So let's do the same with the other box and reposition it. And adjust the font size a bit, and then we can continue with the decoration elements. The decor elements will have a static size, so they don't need to be a 9-patch rect. I made the window textures at twice the resolution I actually need, so that the game can be 2K upscale friendly. And this requires me to rescale all the elements to 0.5, which leads to some texture compression. So to fix this, we set the filter mode to nearest, which basically creates perfect pixels on the border and makes the UI look a lot sharper. Alright, time to finish this first window by editing the button as well. So first I'm gonna exchange the image for the actual button element to the background layer. And then I add another child texture that I'm going to layer on top that we can potentially animate. And after putting it into position and applying the right scaling, I noticed that the outline of the button disappeared at certain points. So it took me a while to find out why. And the reason is because we made the entire UI panel filter mode nearest. And in the case of the button, we actually want linear. So because the filter mode is inherited across every child of the UI element, we actually have to set this manually to linear. And now that we got this fixed, we just need to apply the label so that the button has a caption, and then we can start animating the thing. Okay, here's a little oddity of Godot. By default, text directs block mouse inputs. And because we have these two decor elements here on the left and right, I can no longer click the button. So we're gonna fix this by changing the mouse input mode of these decor elements to ignore. Okay, let's add the button animation, which is going to be very simple because we just want to deactivate the overlay layer when the button is clicked, and that's it. So let's go into the script for the menu, and on the onClick function, we just hide the overlay layer. But the problem is, when testing this out, it doesn't work, because the menu gets closed the second the button is clicked, so the animation is not even visible. So how do we fix this? Well, obviously, we could add a little delay between clicking the button and closing the menu, and then the animation would be visible. But if we do that, we artificially slow down the menu navigation, and also it's unnecessarily complicated to implement. So what we do instead is we add another signal listener here that triggers on the release of the button, and then we just need to move all the stuff we want to trigger when clicking the button there, except for the animation, of course. And now we can test it out. We can properly see the animation play, but the UI still closes exactly according to user input and doesn't lag behind. And just because it makes the thing feel more satisfying, I also want to add a little bit of a highlight animation when the mouse is hovering over the button, just like we did for the progress button. So we just connect two more signals, mouse enter and mouse exit, to make the flash layer visible. And with that, we've finished our redesign of the standard text pop-up window. And I think it's a very satisfying result and the perfect point to end this devlog. I know I promised to deliver a multiple choice window, but honestly, I'm a bit too tired and my voice is still a bit sore from catching cold, so You have to wait for the next devlog for that. Maybe you noticed that my tracking is a bit different now. And this is because I updated my model to use a new tracking method that actually captures my real eye-opening state and also my facial expressions a bit better. For example, I can now close my eyes or squint and the model reflects that instead of just randomly playing a blink animation. Also, if I smile very hard, then my model automatically starts blushing slightly, which is very cute. Unfortunately, it distracted me from programming, so during this devlog I changed it back to my old tracking method while recording this. But it's a cool thing to have in segments in which I can concentrate on puppeteering. So yeah, that's all for today. So, see you again. Toodles!